But from your sea and from your water and from your land shall come energy. And God said, I shall cause your vehicles to rise above the tar. I shall cause your vehicles to go above, and there will not be the smell and the stench of tires. Saturn, you with that mysterious ring around you contain particles of energy. There will be a source that they will have within this nation. It shall come from the garbage. It'll come from the ground. It'll come from paper. It'll come from bugs eating stuff. I'm just seeing a bunch of bugs eating a bunch of stuff. Listen to me. God said this is going to be the craziest thing. The United States shall rise above the wealth of the Middle East in terms of oil, and it shall take over, and they shall say, now take your oil and shove it.
Wow. Welcome to Analysis, everybody. Today we're going to be discussing the new energy that my dad prophesied about for years, as well as transportation. How we'd be rising above the tar and we wouldn't smell that stench anymore. And, you know, it's very interesting to analyze this in this season because all of a sudden there is a demand for new energy. And we're seeing all kinds of interesting things coming to the fore in this time. And so also him seeing Saturn, again, he's seeing things in the atmosphere, and I find that very interesting. So Christy Desfontaine is here to discuss this with us today. Christy?
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And so Christy, Dad has seen some very interesting things. We're going to go through the prophecies today.
Yes.
But new energy, and particularly, you know, that would fuel our vehicles. But we also have now all this technology that needs a lot of energy.
Yes.
If you're mining digital currencies, the use of AI, these quantum computers. If you remember my dad prophesying, he didn't call it a quantum computer, but he prophesied about it. And so in bits and pieces over the years, Dad was prophesying this pretty intensely over and over again, wasn't he?
He really was, and you see that God showed him these kind of unconventional, futuristic energy sources. And I loved the way, because obviously I knew him so well, he was seeing a picture that he didn't always know how to describe. And it's because you could see that he saw it, but there wasn't the technological explanation to back up what he was saying at that point. He was just describing it. And it's the same way that, you know, I think back to the prophecy of him giving about how this device in your hand and held up a cell phone will bring down a corrupt regime. And then, you know, just this year we saw what happened with the pages, where Israel was able to use technology to cause a whole bunch of Hezbollah and Hamas agents to be nailed using pages. But your dad was seeing something like that, but he didn't have the verbiage to explain it in a technological manner, but he also wasn't a technological kind of guy. So I find it interesting that we're seeing a prophetic storyline connecting hovering vehicles, new energy from strange places, a cosmic sign involving Saturn, and America breaking free from hostile energy dependence. And so I think to understand what is happening now, we have to start with what your dad was seeing and saying in 2007.
And it's interesting because in 2007, he was prophesying Trump.
Yes.
As well.
Yes.
So he got a massive download for the future that we are in right now. So let's have a look at that. It was November 17th of 2007 in Houston, Texas.
But from your sea and from your water and from your land shall come energy. And God said, I shall cause your vehicles to rise above the tar. I shall cause your vehicles to go above, and there will not be the smell and the stench of tires. For this that I shall do shall cause a nation overnight to go from a struggling economy to an economy greater than it's ever been. And the gospel, this gospel of the kingdom shall go throughout the earth, says the Lord of hosts, to America the great.
You know, Christy, I just saw Elon Musk in an interview the other day, and he was talking about flying cars.
Yes,
And they were asking him if he was making one, and he said he couldn't give too much information yet, but it sounded kind of like that's what he was trying to do.
The thing that's crazy to me about this, Donna, is that we actually have a video about this, about the flying car. And I know that we've got things to discuss, but maybe we could show this video quickly and then come back and discuss it because it's wild. Remember what Kim said was in 2007. Okay. So let's go to this video now and then we'll come back and be able to discuss it.
Top 8 incredible flying cars that are changing the future of transportation. From China to the United States, real engineers are building real flying cars. Not for the next century, but for this one. These are the top 8 incredible flying cars changing how humanity moves. The machines turning science fiction into reality. Our journey begins in China, the epicenter of futuristic urban transport. Meet the Ehang VT-30, the country's first long-range passenger drone, designed to carry 2 people safely across the skies. It uses multiple electric propellers to lift and cruise with incredible precision, and it's fully autonomous. Ehang envisions entire cities connected by sky corridors, transforming traffic jams into seamless, silent air travel. If the VT-30 connects cities, the Xpeng X2 brings flight closer to home. Built by Xpeng Aero HT, this sleek carbon fiber aircraft can switch from car mode to flight mode with a single command. Powered by 8 electric motors, it cruises at 130 kilometers per hour for about 35 minutes, quietly and cleanly through urban skies. It's designed for anyone to fly, not just professional pilots, thanks to its intelligent flight control system and built-in safety features.
What?
Wow. And I just heard the other day, like I said, Elon Musk talking about making the flying Tesla. So, you know, it's not science fiction anymore.
No, it's not.
And there was my dad in 2007 saying, no more smell of the stench of tires.
Yes, because we now have these, Donna. They're real flying vehicles and using electric propulsion that could create no friction at all. And this global race for airborne mobility genuinely mirrors your dad's timeline.
It does, because if you see everything else he's prophesied about and all that coming to pass, and then just throw this in the middle of it, it is pretty incredible. And it's very encouraging in a time where things have been so difficult and we're going through so much war and division in the nation and everything. To see this happening is encouraging.
Yes, it is.
And, you know, he saw that about Saturn. He saw that about Saturn. We heard a little bit of it in the montage in the beginning of the broadcast here. But I really want to have a look at that one again. He was in Chicago, Illinois, and it was May 28th of 2010. Let's look at that one.
Saturn, you, with that mysterious ring around you, contain particles of energy. I see dust and ice. But what is there that they shall discover? I speak to you in a mystery, but I inform you tonight. This earth is mine, says the Lord. They've endeavored to possess it. So I take just one of my planets to show them that they will hear the sound of the sons of God. Science will never ever understand. Cambridge will tell us it's this. Berkeley will tell us it's that. God says, I'll shine on you. what I gave when I created the earth. And when I threw out the stars, and I cast them out, you were on my mind.
Wow. And you know what? It's so interesting. As all this is happening, we also have that 3-eye atlas, which I've covered at length, and he saw something in the atmosphere there as well, connected to this new energy. And so when everybody else is freaking out saying, the aliens are coming, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, they're observing this right now. They're seeing strange things that they can't explain or that are different. And what could they learn about energy from observing these things? And so this one about, you know what, when I started looking at this, I didn't even know my dad had prophesied about Saturn. I think I did in the back of my mind, but I hadn't even thought about it in years. And so it's very exciting. I'm certainly not scared about the aliens, but it is exciting because this new energy results in death to debt for America. That's another prophecy that's lining up with all of this. And so, he saw energy coming from garbage and bugs and from the ground as well. So we're going way back now. We're going to go all the way back to 2005, September 3rd of 2005. My dad was in Whittier, California, and he prophesied about the energy coming from garbage and bugs. So let's have a look at that.
There will be a source that they will have within this nation. It shall come from the garbage. It'll come from the ground. It'll come from paper. It'll come from bugs eating stuff. I'm just seeing a bunch of bugs eating a bunch of stuff. Listen to me. God said this is going to be the craziest thing. They're going to say, wow, this is being wasted. The creatures are eating what could be used to cause our engines to work and our vehicles to move. I'm seeing this bunch of bugs eating the stuff. And they said, there it is. That's it right there. God said, when it happens, the United States shall rise above the wealth of the Middle East in terms of oil, and it shall take over, and they shall say, now take your oil and shove it.
Well, that has happened. That is fulfilled, Christy, that we are no longer reliant on the Middle East for oil. And at the time he prophesied that, that wasn't even imaginable.
But also,
that was just the way things were.
Some of what he says here, again, I love the way that he explains it because I just know him and I know he was seeing a picture and you can almost hear him being frustrated that he can't explain it, and there's like a frustration in him that everybody else can't see it because he's seeing something so clear, and it's something I love. I was actually at that meeting, the previous prophecy we played in 2010 and May 28th in Chicago. I was there with him on stage when he prophesied that specific prophecy. But here's something crazy, speaking about technology. Israel, with what Kim prophesied with energy coming from strange overlooked places, is happening right now in Israel. Israel has developed water pipes that generate electricity from the pressure of flowing water. These pipes use tiny turbines that spin naturally under water pressure, no fuel, no emissions, no infrastructure. They produce enough energy to power streetlights, sensors, remote systems, and even small communities. It's a hidden energy, exactly what Kim described. And we're seeing that it already exists beneath the city, just like Kim said, energy would come from places no one expected. This is prophetic confirmation happening in God's covenant land, Israel, which I obviously love. And this is really just a perfect moment to share a ministry encouragement, because when God reveals a new source of energy in the natural, he also releases new power in the spirit, and we know that. Now, there's an article we're going to put on screen, and again, we're doing this to give you hope. Kim was prophesying some of this stuff 20 years ago, and we're seeing it fulfilled now, and it's about energy, and we know that this energy is connected to death to debt. So this does matter to you as much as it matters to anybody else. To you, especially those warriors that have been here with us for a long time. Some of you have been watching Kim for decades. We know that what God told him is coming to pass. So we're going to read this article together. In Israel, engineers have turned a simple idea into a global breakthrough. Pipes that make electricity as water flows through them. These innovative smart pipes are fitted with tiny internal turbines that spin naturally from water pressure, producing clean power without fuel emissions or environmental impact. The electricity they generate is strong enough to power streetlights, sensors, and even small communities, turning ordinary plumbing systems into hidden, renewable energy grids. Unlike traditional dams or hydropower plants, these systems don't need new or large infrastructure. They use what already exists beneath our cities. Now installed across several Israeli towns, the technology is proving that sustainability doesn't always need a revolution, just smart engineering in the right place. And I want to take this moment to encourage you to give into the legacy of Kim Clement. God often brings breakthrough from unexpected, overlooked places. Think about Isaiah chapter 43:19. Behold, I will do a new thing. I will make rivers flow in the desert. That was Isaiah foreseeing a time in the future when Israeli technology would cause that to happen, and it is happening. In 1 Corinthians 1:27, we're told that God uses the foolish things of this world to confound the wise. And what looks insignificant can become a miraculous provision. America's new energy is both literal and spiritual because God is empowering his people. So I'm inviting you today, sow into revelation, sow into innovation, sow into prophetic destiny. I'm encouraging you. I'm actually going to pray. I'm going to pray, and while I'm doing that, I'm encouraging you to click the red link to give. You can text your offering, you can do all this, and then we're going to go back to Danae where we've got another prophecy for you, so don't leave us. But let's pray together because this is big. Father, I really do ask that you would just give us the insight that we need, where this one breakthrough just makes me so excited because it's something I know that Kim foresaw 20 odd years ago that we're seeing fulfilled now in the year 2025. And I pray for provision for your people as they sow, as they give in faith, as they activate that faith, knowing that what you've said comes to pass, both in your word and what you said through your servant, Kim. We're trusting that you would open our eyes and give us direction, give us wisdom, give us insight, teach us, lead us, let us know where it is that we're supposed to go. And we thank you for that in Jesus' name. And I do pray that every person who sows, we would see blessing come in your life. So Donna, I know that I just kind of took that moment right there, and we do have more prophecy, but just that little bit of technology, I say little bit, it's transformative. What an unexpected source. Plumbing underneath the city.
Incredible. And I'm so glad it's in Israel, especially
Obviously.
with the things that have happened.
Yes.
I'm not surprised at all. No. But, you know, some of these things I discussed a few weeks ago on Codebreakers Live with Walter H, who
yes.
kind of broke down how a lot of these things work for us. And that was a really interesting broadcast because you had the visuals and the explanation of how this would actually come about, some of these things. And so, yes, and you know, I just want to encourage people to sow into the death of debt because we're all carrying that burden on our shoulders. And so this is the time certainly to sow where there is good fruit. And you are being fed good fruit here, and you have for many years, preparing you for the future we are in today. And so I just wanted to throw that in there as well. We're so grateful for everybody who's supported us over the years, which has enabled us to share these prophecies at such a crucial time. And we've taken these prophecies because of you all the way to the President of the United States of America. And so it's making a difference. You're making a difference. And we do love you and appreciate you so much. But we also have another prophecy to share with you today. And this was on November 16th of 2008 in Nashville, Tennessee.
The Spirit says, do you understand that I'm going to give you and have already begun to give you oil from everywhere, but a new source of energy where there will be no reliance on the Middle East. There will be no reliance upon your enemies. Why should you take from your enemies, says the Spirit of God? Why should you take from your enemies? Why has the United Nations betrayed the people that I love? God said, I will bring them to nothing. I will bring them down because God said, I'm raising up a brand new statute. I'm raising up a brand new power. I'm raising up a brand new voice, and this nation will have what they have prayed for, because I am ready, says the Spirit of the Lord. Rejoice.
Wow. And there again, he's talking about no reliance on the Middle East
Yes.
for oil. And, up until recently, that was not even something we thought could happen, but
No.
it has. So that is another fulfilled prophecy for Kim Clement. So interesting, he brings up the UN as well.
That's what I was about to say.
And the hostile energy, yes, the hostile energy dependence. But he's referring to the United Nations betrayal of Israel.
Of course.
And look what's happening. Israel's got their water that we just looked at.
Yes.
So that is fantastic.
Yes.
It's very, very encouraging to see these things coming to pass, because we know, and many of you watching have followed what he said about energy, what he said about these subjects. A new energy that would result in death to debt, specifically for America. And so something is happening as we have Donald Trump leading America in the restoration, and all of the things that are being exposed and revealed to the people so they can see the truth for what it is. And then you can look across the world at what is happening. You have you have the invasion of the beast of the East, which Dad prophesied that as well. And it's not just Islam, but Islam with communism. And that is, that enemy that we see, but we see that God is countering it, and God has brilliant, ingenious plans that no man could think of. And he's making sure that those plans are coming to fruition. So we're not going to be reliant, and we are no longer reliant on the Middle East for oil, which that is a dangerous relationship to have. So we're free of that. We no longer are held by the bondage of that. Now we need new energy, and the whole world is looking for where can we get new energy, and there's all kinds of stuff happening in the atmosphere and in space, and we're seeing all these technologies and flying cars. So many things are happening, and it's all happening in this specific timeline that's lining up with all these other things that my dad prophesied about. So it's pretty incredible how God works, because my dad couldn't have figured that out, but God knew. And so, of course, he gets the credit, which is well-deserved. And I really have to say, tipping my hat off to God, because I love how this is playing out, how he's just countering back at the enemy. Every time the enemy's hitting, God's hitting back, and he's doing that through us and through these incredible things. And so we are done for the day, but we are going to do a little bit extra for our partners. So if you are a Vault partner, go over there now, because Christy and I are going to further discuss some of this. In particular, we're going to be looking at the Big E and some other things about that. And so we would love to talk about it, but some of it we might get into trouble, and we don't want to lose the YouTube channel. Things are better than they were before Trump. We started dealing with those things. And so we have our own little corner on the internet for our partners. And so we invite you to join us over there to further discuss this. And I think we're going to talk about FirePoint too. So if you're interested in that, join us over there. If you are not a partner, the information is on the screen right now, and you can join. It's very easy, it's not expensive, and it's really worth it. And so Christy and I are going to do that. But we are feeling so encouraged today. And we thank you for joining us. Pray about these things, watch them, share with us. If we are not covering something, or if we've missed something, or something we don't know, we want to hear from you. So email us at codebreakers@houseofdestiny.org. And also don't miss anything that's going on at the House of Destiny Network this week. We've got Prophetic Rewind on Mondays. We've got Real Life, Real Faith. We've got prayer meetings every Tuesday night. We've got Israel Update. We've got Code Breakers Live. We've got Church with Fa. You really don't want to miss everything that the House of Destiny Network has to offer. And this was founded and begun by my mom and dad. And we truly are so honored to be able to carry on this legacy with you. So if you're a partner, go over there and join us. If you're not a partner, join us and come and listen to the discussion Christy and I are going to have in our partner segment. And so we thank you so much for joining us today. Christy, thank you for joining us. And we will see you next week. Hello, friends. I'm Donna Clement Petrushka, and I am honored to invite you to something truly extraordinary, the Kim Clement Prophecy Vault. Now you can gain unprecedented access to my father's entire digitized video archive. Every prophetic moment, every powerful teaching, every anointed worship session is now available to you in the Prophecy Vault. Plus, I'm excited to share that my dad's special School of the Prophets teachings are included, offering you deep, transformative lessons on hearing God's voice and understanding his revelations. Your partnership is crucial. Not only will you gain access to these incredible resources, but you'll also help us continue the vital work of preserving, digitizing, and adding new Kim Clement material to the archives. I'm inviting you to step into the Kim Clement Prophecy Vault. Let's embark on this journey of revelation together, and I can't wait to see you inside. We have Andrew Sorcini from Beverly Hills Precious Metals with us today. If someone has a 401k, can they take some of that and purchase gold as an investment for their future?
They can, and it's a great way to do it, because if you have an IRA, a government TSP account, a 401k from a company that you used to work at but don't work at anymore, or you still work at the company and you're over 59 and a half, these can be rolled over into a precious metals IRA. And if you were to speak to your financial advisor about it, they'll tell you, oh, this is a taxable event. They'll tell you things like gold and silver are volatile. But really, the thing is, they don't want you to get into precious metals because it doesn't benefit them monetarily. I'm here to tell you that your accounts can be rolled into a precious metals IRA without it being a taxable event. You would own real gold and silver that is stored in a third-party depository that's insured in a lockbox with your name on it.
So if someone goes to bh-pm.com, is that the correct website? Okay, and that's going to be on the bottom of the screen. If they go there today, what do they need to do?
Okay, so there's an online form there, and the form, almost every page on the website has the online form. So you just fill in your first name, last name, email address, telephone number. Say that Kim Clement sent you, or the House of Destiny. We'll know what you mean. And in the notes section, be as detailed as you can. Sometimes people put things in there like, I'm a complete novice. I really don't understand precious metals. I've been wanting to understand. I want to invest, but really I need more information first. Then put that in there. If you're someone that's been investing in gold and silver for years and really don't need a consultation, you just want to check prices, then put that in there.
Everybody watching, if you are interested in precious metals, this is where you want to go. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Andrew.